Hello and welcome back to the Do You Think You're Better Than Me podcast. This week, Terrell Owens, amazing football player. Do you think you're better than me? T.O., sign in, vote on the polls. We're going to find out if Terrell Owens is better than me. We've been doing this podcast for about 42 episodes. We have talked about Joe Namath, Muhammad Ali, Lin-Manuel Miranda, leaders of several countries, the entire country of Ghana, Italy, even Sicily. So far, everyone has been better than me by... Somehow I don't have people watch the show, but when I do these Do You Think You're Better Than Me polls, I have about 350,000 people vote on them. So if you are voting on the polls, please also watch the episode. I could definitely use the views. At the moment, everybody is just voting. But at the moment, everybody is better than me. This is also the Cooper Lyden News podcast hosted by Cooper Lyden. A lot of people ask me, how do you get the biggest scoops on Cooper Lyden? Easy answer, I am him. A lot of people say I'm him as in to mean, I'm the man, I'm unbeatable, I'm the best. When I say I'm him, I just mean Cooper Lyden. I am him, Cooper Lyden. Pretty undeniable on that front. Not even Michael Jordan is Cooper Lyden, and he will never be. And he'll have to live with that. Mike, I know you listen. You're a bitch. Just want to say that again. And once again, open invite to LeBron James whenever you want to come on the podcast. Little surprised to have not heard anything back after all the offers that I've given. But I also understand that you are a little busy with the basketball and, whatever else you're up to. But LeBron, I would love a response. I'd love to have you on the podcast. You can come over to my studio apartment and we can gab and chat it up. I think that would be fun. Don't really know why you haven't responded, but once again, I know that you get busy with the basketball. Once again, Michael Jordan, you will never be allowed on this podcast. So whatever your dumbass thinks is going to happen, it's not. If you're trying to excel your career by getting on my podcast, you're one of the dumbest motherfuckers in the world, okay? So just want to start off there. Sorry to cuss. We got a lot of new devout Protestant listeners. They say they like the pod. They say they don't like the cussing, so that's something we'll be aware of. A lot of people also say they don't like the constant gas that I am releasing from my mouth into the mic. Listen, if you don't want an all-American podcast, that's fine. Just don't come to me with your stupid complaints. This is an all-American podcast. I'm going to release gas out of my mouth into the mic because that's how we do it. And have you ever hosted a podcast alone? Have you ever had to talk for an hour? Oh, it's harder than anything, okay? Me and Jesse Owens are pretty similar, so think about that. But yeah, no, everything's going great with me. Yesterday I went to the doctor to have him look at my hemorrhoids. Didn't want him to fix them, just wanted him to look at it. He said, holy shit, those look nice. Gave him a lick. But no, I went in. It's funny when you go to the doctor, it's not a place that you expect to come out having done other stuff. But I went to the doctor, and they just offered me 3 vaccines for flu, pneumonia, and HPV. And they're like, do you want to get it? And a lot of times I just say no, and then I get sick. So this time they're like, you want 3 vaccines today? And I was like, yeah, is it fine to take 3 vaccines? And they were like, yeah. So I was like, cool. So I went in for butt stuff, left with 3 vaccines. But, the butt is an interesting thing to have looked at. I don't know, because it was weird. He was like, all right, I'm going to leave the room, take off your bottoms, put this over you. And it wasn't a robe. It was just a humongous napkin. Just a huge, same material as a napkin. It was just like fucking 4x4. And then he comes in and he's like, all right, I'm going to poke your butthole with a Q-tip. This was a real doctor, I swear. It was in a nice building, a medical building, not an apartment building, Cedars-Sinai. It was a doctor. He was like, I'm going to poke your butthole with this Q-tip and you tell me if it hurts. and I'm like on my side, and then he opens up a cheek to stare at my butthole, and he goes, well, you got anal fungus. And I was like, fuck! Because you got to understand, I didn't think that I was going to be surprised by the visit. When you go in for hemorrhoids, it's one of the few medical conditions that you're like, I bet I got this one on the nose. Sometimes you go into the doctor with a rash or a weird pain, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. I have a guess. I Googled it. It's probably wrong. When you go in for hemorrhoids, you're like, I swear to God, I got this one. I know I'm right. He opens it up. He's like, well, not opens, but you get it. He's like, you got anal fungus. I'm like, that's pretty embarrassing. He's like, nah, it's just, you got a hairy ass. It's fine. It's just jock itch. It's not gross. It doesn't look like I have a fungus. It doesn't, okay. Everybody wondering what my butthole looks like. It looks just like yours, okay? It looks just like yours, except it's being judged. It's being critiqued. Go have your butthole critiqued, and then tell me that you're perfect. But he goes, yeah, you got that. I don't see any hemorrhoids on the outside, so we got to look inside, which I am fine with because I've had non-medical professionals look inside my butthole. Not look, but if the penis had an eye, boy, would they have seen a lot. You understand? So I'm not really worried when they say we got to take a gander in. But it's weird when a male doctor has to check a man's butthole because it is the only medical procedure where the doctor is allowed to say he doesn't want to do it. And they almost have to say they don't want to do it because there's been a lot of guys that are homophobic and stuff, and they go in for butt stuff, and then they freak out when the doctor has to actually touch their butt, which I think is crazy. That there are guys still, because there's that one guy that went in for a prostate check, and like, I think the doctor hit his prostate, so it made him come involuntarily, and then he was like, you made me gay, and he killed the doctor. That's like the worst it's been. But just even still, there's just tons of guys that I guess will go into the doctor either for like a 45-year-old prostate exam, or they have hemorrhoids, and then when the doctor's like, hey, yeah, I gotta look inside your butt, they're like, what the fuck? Which is crazy to me. If you go in with a butt problem, what you are consenting to is the doctor possibly having to look in your butthole with something that looks like a clear gun, and that's what he did. He was like, all right, because he checked, and then once he realized he had to look inside, he goes, oh, man, didn't want to do this. He started calling me dude. They really changed their tone. They're like, dude, I'm sorry. I gotta look inside really quick. He takes out a wrapped up thing. Once again, it looks like a clear gun. It's just a tube, but it has like a handle, and it's like those things they have for women to look in their pussies, except not as like big. But he's like, this is called an anoscope, which is so funny that like already these doctors are unhappy about having to look in a guy's butthole. And they also have to tell normal people that they're about to use an anoscope on them. Where it's like, just call it anything else that's not that fucking funny. Because anoscope is way too funny. And he's like, all right. And then he barely went in. They always barely go in. They think they're not allowed to be in there for a while. And I'm like, listen, man, I came in with hemorrhoids. You can stay in there for 20 minutes if it'll help me get well. Like, you know? And he's like, I'm going to put a lot of KY jelly. I'm going to go real slow. And it was very funny because he didn't just put it in. He did it like you would with a dick, where he was like, push, and then we're going to go out, and then push, and then we're going to go out, and then push, and then we're going to go out. And I'm like, wow, this is really medical anal. He was like, I'm loosening the sphincter. He really tells you everything he's doing. And the entire time I'm like, dude, you could tongue it. I would not give a shit. Like, just whatever you need to do. I don't care. He looked inside for 2 seconds. He was like, you got an internal hemorrhoid. And I was like, perfect. Those are the worst ones, so that's great to hear. Also, all of this is happening at 9 a.m., which is why I feel really bad for doctors, especially primary care physicians, that, like, his office opens at, like, maybe 7, and that guy hasn't even had lunch yet, and now he has to look at a 24-year-old's butthole. And I was late. I was supposed to be there at, like, 8:20. I fucking went to the wrong office. I left late. I got there 40 minutes late. And he still had to look at my butthole. He couldn't be like, listen, man, if you want to look at the butthole, if you want me to look at your butthole, you got to show up on time. He can't even say that. He took me, pause on the entire story I'm telling, pause on the entire podcast. But it was funny because when I made the appointment, because these hemorrhoids have been annoying me for a while, and I was like, I finally got to do this. So I called the doctor, and the receptionist was like, yeah, the soonest we have is going to be Wednesday at 8:20. And I didn't say it over the phone, but I really wanted to be like, all right, I mean, that's fine with me, but is the doctor going to be okay with it? Because 8:20, that's a little early for an asshole. At 8:20, maybe a stomach, maybe a kneecap, maybe even a foot. Even a foot, starting to push it depending on the foot. But a butthole at 9 a.m. is like, and he's got to act. He's one of those doctors that acts like he wants to be there. It's a thing a lot of new, younger doctors do where they come in, they're like, hey, how are you? Let's see how we can help you. So he's got to fucking come in and put on a big show about my butthole. It's at 9 a.m., I would have been totally fine if he came in, read the paper of what I needed help with, and was like, God fucking damn it, you couldn't have gotten a 3 p.m. butthole appointment, man. I would have laughed. We would have laughed, But what are you going to do, And it sucks to be a primary care physician because you get the whole body. You're the first doctor people see, before you go to like a butthole specialist. Which I think is good that you can't go straight to a butthole specialist. I feel like that's good for those guys because that's the kind of profession where they're like, listen, if you're coming into my office, this better be fucking serious, okay? I look at buttholes all day. It better be fucked up because I'm not going to look at a butthole for no fucking reason, okay? Unless it's a girl's. No. But yeah, these primary care physicians, they just gotta take everything, But, we're getting it fixed. We got a cream. We got a suppository. I have to put a tiny, it's like, it's the color of cum, pause. It's the size of a bullet, pause. And I have to put it in my ass, pause. Every night before I go to sleep, pause. And he, the way he said it too, he goes, yeah, so you got to do this every night for a couple of weeks. And he goes, and please, you gotta wear a diaper because it might leak a little. And they got to do that because there's been guys that probably call and they're like, I fucking ruined my bed. So now I did it for the first time last night. I put it in my butt and then had to put on a it's sort of brown grayish, almost like a dark sanded wood color men's Depends diaper and sleep with it on. And it's like, I'm Gen Z, I'm young, I still have my health for the most part. I fucked dudes, I'm not afraid of my body and whatever, but putting on a diaper is really, I really haven't felt that demoralized in a while, and I had to put my underwear over it just so I wouldn't see it, because the walking around in the diaper was too much. When you have to go buy diapers and you have to put them on is when you really realize that your body is going to die one day. And you will probably die with it. I'm not a big soul guy, so this is it. And you look at these Depends and you go, this isn't the same as it was a couple of months ago even. This definitely isn't the same as it was 10 years ago even. 10 years ago I was 13 though, so that's, 14. So, the point is it really makes you realize that you're just a piece of meat that's slowly decaying, And I'm only 24, so having to, this kind of stuff, this isn't supposed to happen till I'm like 50, and you go, oh man, this is tough. I've lived a whole life, but this time I'm 24, and I'm just like, my life is in a lot of ways barely starting, and I'm already having to wear diapers sometimes. Like, this can't be good, because I know that when I die, it's not going to be a good death. I'm not going to be healthy for a while and then have 2 weeks where I'm just sort of naturally dying, and then, like a week in hospice and just sort of slowly drift off, and my family's. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think I'm going to be kind of old, but not even old enough, maybe like 65, and then some terrible thing is going to happen, maybe with my stomach, and I'm going to have to get surgery and get a colostomy bag, and the surgery is just going to be too much exhaustion for the rest of my body. So it's like that surgery kind of saved me, but also killed me. And I'm just going to end up in bed with, either a diaper or a colostomy bag, and just dying in my own shit. I just think it's going to be really fucked up and sad when I die. And maybe not even sad, maybe by that point people will say, this is how this fucking guy should die. But my point is, I don't think there's any way I die with dignity. You know what I mean? I think I'll either have a fucking hose down my throat, or I'll have a diaper on, or both, and I'll just be fighting it, and just like, it's just not gonna be, it's gonna be a bad, really kind of lonely death. And, as I was taking out the diaper, I imagined looking at the same diaper in 60 years and just thinking it's wild that I've been here before. And of course my friend pointed out, well, then you were there too when you were a baby, but you don't remember that. I think it'll be even crazier when I'm like 77, if I even make it that I'm taking out a diaper and being like, wow, I remember I did this when I was 24. I guess I knew this was coming, I think that's how I'll die, I think I might die similarly to the way my aunt's husband died. He was my uncle, but not blood. My blood aunt married him. And I remember when he died, he was for a while kind of a dick. Everybody thought he was a dick. And, he used to be, like direct porn, but he would always call himself a director. And at one point he was very rich. And when he first came into the family, he was a real big dick. By the last few years, though, he got sweet, and we got to kind of see his good side. And I never disliked him. I was too young to really be like, what a asshole, But I remember when he died, it was interesting because my uncle used to work at Cedars-Sinai, and he was giving me and my high school girlfriend a tour of Cedars-Sinai because my high school girlfriend wanted to be a doctor, and so he was showing her stuff around because she was interested in the same field as him. So we're walking around Cedars-Sinai, we're having a good day. I was unaware that my uncle was dying in the same hospital, and my aunt was actually there visiting him, and so my uncle goes, hey, do you want to go see your other uncle, Jack? He's dying. And it's funny because in that situation, you have to say yes, but you also don't know what you're saying yes to. And I didn't think about it at all, where he's like, hey, Jack's here. And I was like, oh, I'll go see Jack. I forgot that Jack was days away from dying. I think he died like 3 days after. I walk in, and he was kind of a short guy, and he's in bed, and all of his limbs are just up. His hands, as much as he can lift, they're all just like, ah. And I don't think he had a tube in his throat, but he just couldn't really talk. He was like, ah. But I came in, and he was mentally still there, and I could tell because I walked in, and he saw me, and he was like, ah, ah, like wanting to tell me something. And I remember being, I guess you would call rude about it, because he was like, and then my aunt talked to me, and I kind of just ignored him because it was too much to handle. A guy that I was never particularly close with, but was good to me and was in my life since I was, I think, born. And now he's dying, and I think you think when you die that you will be people's priority and that it'll be a big deal and it'll matter. And there was something about this situation where he was dying, and it seemed like only his wife really cared all that much. Because his daughters were kind of, their lives were kind of fucked up on their own, and they were kind of fuck-ups. Sorry, fuck, shit, one of them's dead, fuck. But this is way too deep personal family information. But they're not my blood. Point is, he was dying, and he was obviously trying to tell me something, but wasn't in a state to articulate it, and I was not really in a state to listen enough to really get through what he had to say. It must be one of the most depressing things in the world to be sitting in a hospital bed with only your wife. I don't know how many other people visited him. I hope it was a lot. But to be sitting in a hospital bed, to see your nephew come in, and to want to say something to him, and for him to not really give you the time to do it. And that was me. I was part of a death that really would maybe make a guy feel like his life was not well lived, which I'm not saying it wasn't well lived. I'm saying if somebody treated me that way when I was dying, I would go, did I fuck up a lot? Because why is he not giving me enough? And the point of all of this is that I think I will die in the same way. I think at the end of my life, if I die of old age, that nobody will really give that much of a fuck by then. Except maybe a woman who loves me but has been told by everyone in her life that I'm a bad person. And she'll be there. But everyone else coming in will just not give a fuck, I remember looking at his feet. They just looked like they were just trying to grasp, and they were just fucked up, They just looked in pain. They were just strained, just trying to scream into the void of, why is nobody here? And that'll be me, And if anything, I kind of hope that there doesn't have to be somebody there to walk me through that, because that's really sadder for them. That's tough to be the spouse of somebody who's not being visited enough as they die, because you go, when I leave, nobody else is going to come. And I'm the one shepherding them into the dark. There should be more people here. It's sad there aren't more people here, But I also don't think that a dignified death necessarily exists. Or you could say that all death is in its own way dignified, because death is just death, and whatever way it happens. And that's kind of the beautiful part, which is that, your act of dying, wanting all these people to come, maybe it doesn't, and then death comes and just swoops you up, and you're gone, and that's as dignified as when the Queen died, and she had tons of people before and after her death coming by to say hello to her living body or her corpse, But I'm a big fan of, being a part of deaths. I think that's why I feel bad that I was not a better part of my uncle's death. But yeah, I think getting to be there when somebody dies, not by your hand. I'm not talking about killing people. I have been accused several times on this podcast of being the Inland Empire neck slasher. That's not me. But yeah, I like being there for deaths, I don't like it. I'm just saying there's things to learn from it, and it is a beautiful thing in a lot of ways. And it's only beautiful because it's inevitable. So when I say beautiful, I'm saying you should get the best part and the lesson of that situation. Like, I would visit my grandma almost every week until she died. Since I was a little kid until I was, 22 or however old I was when she died. But I will say in the last couple of years, I fell off a little. I would only visit once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks, and I really never planned to do that, and I was kind of disgusted with myself that I let that happen. But I remember when she was dying, she was in her hospice bed in her house, luckily. She didn't have to leave her house. But I would go visit her, And I was trying to be there as much as I can because this is gay as fuck, but I consider my grandma my best friend because we talked so much. We had a very close relationship. I like told her the first time I did acid, and she was a cool person. She was kind of out there, so it was she really understood me in a way that was not just a grandson thing. It was we really agreed with each other as people. It was just good. This is why you should talk to your grandparents or your parents or your uncles or your cousins, or if you can, or your brother, even just anybody in your family that you can get close enough with that you go past being family members and into seeing each other as people and then have sex. No, I'm saying not the sex, but to be able to relate to your family members on a human level past just we are family members is really interesting and insightful because they're part of the same tribe, so that's interesting to be a part of. But I remember the day my grandma died, I did not know it was the day, but I planned to go over in the morning at like 8, and I drove over from LA, and I parked in front of her house, and for some reason I felt the urge to kind of rush in, so I go in, the nurse is there, my aunt is there, my dad is there, and they are all rubbing her hands and feet to get more circulation, and she's kind of just comatose. Like, she can hear us and stuff, but she kind of can't talk because she's dying. And also, it's a weird thing. When you're dying, they pump you up with all these like sedatives and shit. So it's weird because they're like, well, we put the sedatives because we don't want them to be in pain. But you're also like, that kind of sucks though, because if they didn't have the sedatives, we might be able to talk, but maybe all they'd say is, ow, fuck, this hurts and I'm scared. So maybe it's good. I don't know. But I go in, they're rubbing her hands and feet. My dad whispers to my grandma, or he just tells her. He actually couldn't whisper. He had to speak pretty loudly, actually. He was like, hey, Mom, Cooper's here. Cooper just showed up. That's Cooper. He's rubbing your hand. Cooper's here. And then my dad put on Blowin' in the Wind by Bob Dylan. She was a big Bob Dylan fan. That was like one of her favorite songs. And he put on that. We rubbed her hands. And then like a minute, 2 minutes after I showed up, she died. I think I was the first one to notice she died because she was lightly breathing and then she stopped. And I was like, did she stop? And it's interesting when somebody dies because, in the movies when somebody dies, they just go, she's died. And everyone agrees. But in real life, when somebody dies, they go, Mom? Mom? And then they touch her, they do something, they put it, and they go, Mom? She died. And it's like, they just say it. It's odd. It's like really like not picturesque. But anyway, the point being, that was maybe one of the most important experiences of my life because she was a friend to me, a best friend to me, more than just a grandma. And I felt like I had not facilitated that relationship as much as I could in the last couple of years of her life. I guess I visited her more than maybe a lot of people visit their grandmas. But to go from once every week to once every 2 weeks hurt me, and it hurt that I did that. But the point is to come back in the last moment for your friend as they take their step into the darkness is a really cool thing, because I don't really think I believe in heaven or a kind of afterlife, but the fact of the matter is, whether or not there's something on the other side, death is a transition. It's either a transition into the afterlife or it's a transition into nothing, but it's an act. Dying is the last thing you do, is you die. And to die is not a passive act. I mean, it's inevitable. It happens to you. So yes, in that way it's passive, but you're a part of it. It's something you're doing. And I like to believe that she was able to hold off dying because she knew I was coming, because the timing was too perfect. So I'm saying it's something you do. So getting to be there for your friend when they do what we all have to do is a real privilege. And the only other time I've done that was with my family dog. And that was interesting because she stayed at my mom's house for a few days. a lot of people don't know this about me. Because I'm joking. We had to, we after the family broke up, my mom nor my dad, they were not able to take the family dog, which is such a blow when the family breaks up. So she went to one of my mom's friends who was a dog person, and our dog had a good last couple of years with some new dogs. But at the end of the day, she's not with her family. That's very sad. But when she was dying, she had a bone cancer condition shit. We brought her to my mom's house for the last couple of days, and I had to like hold her up to shit, you know. And that was interesting because me and her, I'm the youngest, and she's a dog. She was younger than me. So, you know, she never really respected me. But in that way, we were both kind of the children of the house. And it was interesting then to steward her through her death. Because it's like, oh, man, like, you were my little buddy, and now you're an old lady, and now I'm helping you shit. And, you know, it was tough to be, like I was sort of her primary care, and I'm a piece of shit that doesn't help anybody in his life. So that was new for me, where it's like, you got to help feed her, you got to drag her, you got to pick her up, drag her, get her out. She's going to whine. You're not going to go know why she's whining. And I was getting a little mad, you know, and like not like at her, but it was just sort of like, oh, fuck. And then eventually I had to stop and be like, hey, man, this is her death. This is her thing. This is her time. You know, this is, you got to help her because this is her big moment, you know? We fucking killed her because you can't. She had a bone cancer, and they're like, she's not going to live longer, and any more time she lives is constant pain throughout her entire body. So we were going to help her out for a couple days, and then somebody came, and they killed her. They came with a Glock 9 and lit her ass up. It was crazy. Now, they did the injection, but it's cool because you don't have to go to the vet anymore. They'll come to you. If you're fucking rich. No, I mean, it's like $100 more or something. But, yeah, we just sat her in the backyard, and she was like, she was chilling. My dad was there. My mom was there. They haven't been around each other in a while, and she's chilling. And then the lady's like, all right, we're going to give her this one. It's going to calm her. We're going to give her this one. It's going to knock her out. We're going to give her this one. It's going to fucking kill her. And we're like, all right. And, I might have played Broke Down Palace by the Grateful Dead. My family's we're kind of douchebags in that way. We like music. I think we're trying to make too many moments here. But then they killed her, and it's nice because with the dog, you just do what you always do with the dog, where she's like, and then you see her get tired, and I don't know if she understands that she's dying or that she just thinks she's going to sleep. But we're like, it's all right, just go to bed. Just go to bed, baby. And then just, you know, then you have a dead dog on your grass, and you get to just spit roast it. The sex, I mean, no. But yeah, it's interesting. Just to anybody out there still listening, sorry I haven't been funny really the entire episode, but to anyone still listening, if you know somebody that's dying, get over there. Go pop in. Say hi. It's a good thing to be a part of. Somebody's death is a real gift, and it's a gift because anything you can do for them in their final moments is a good thing, and it does a lot for you. And just to see how gross and fickle and fucked up the biggest moment of somebody's life can be is a real lesson that everything we're doing is fucking stupid, you know? People don't die like they do in movies, you know? A lot of times when people die, they can't talk anymore. In movies, they're always like, I love you. And then they die. And it doesn't make any sense, because if you think about it, if you're about to die, if all of the life force in your body is about to leave, do you know how hard it would be to be like, and another thing, Jeremy? Like, that doesn't have... Most of the time, you're like, oh. And that's a real impression. You know what I mean? That's it. I don't know. It's interesting. I remember my grandpa died. That was a funny death. I mean, it wasn't, but he was kind of funny. He was my grandma's second husband, so not a real grandpa, but the only one I ever done knew. He was old as fuck. He was like 92. He was a great guy. Taught me to run. like sport running, not regular. I know how to regular run. But it was interesting because he was old as fuck, and he had an asshole problem, some shit. So they had to do surgery. This is what I was talking about, which I think is going to be my life earlier. They had to do surgery, and they fucked up his asshole, which was not the plan. But they fucked up his asshole, so he had to get a colostomy bag. And he was already not that much into still being alive because he was 92, and he had had a pretty good life. So at that point, it was kind of okay for him to not want to be there. And then they added on, you can't take a shit, and all that shit is going to be in a bag on your stomach. So he was a fucking beast because he did not lie to anybody. They'd be like, how you doing? He'd be like, I don't want to be here anymore. And they'd be like, what? And he's like, I got shit on my stomach. I'm 92. I don't like this anymore. I'd rather not be here. And people were like, come on, Pete, which is so fucking rude. When he said that, I was like, I'm with you, brother. Like, this sucks. If you can get out of here ASAP, that's okay with me. I'll miss you a lot, but this isn't working for me either. I don't love it either. I don't like seeing you like this. You're too strong, you know? But he died, and his family is kind of fucking annoying. They're all good people. They're very loud, though. And I remember everybody was coming to see him and to visit him, and like normal, they were all crying, and, you know, he wasn't blood to me, so I loved him, but I loved him as sort of an individual because of what he did for me. He took interest in me. He was very nice, gave me Kurt Vonnegut books, taught me the art of running and the mental and what it gives you in life. So I really respected him, not in an obligatory way. So it was an interesting relationship to have. But he has these family members that's their dad, you know? So they're very emotional, you know. I can't imagine what that's like. Both of my parents are alive. I can't imagine what that's like. But people would come in and cry, and like anybody would. But I just noticed everybody coming in was just all bad news. Which sucks. Nobody thinks about that. When you're dying, everybody who comes in is just like, oh, fuck, this sucks, you know? And like, that stinks. I don't think we should do that, you know? I don't think anybody should come in and be like, this rules, I'm glad. You know, you shouldn't do that either. But I remember everybody was coming in with bad news and sad faces. And so I was like, all right, why don't I mix it up a little bit? Which is how much of a piece of shit. You also notice everything I'm talking about with death, it's all very self-centered, the whole experience. I'm a piece of shit. I'm not saying everything I'm saying is the words of a bad person who intellectualizes making things about themselves. So I'm there, and I'm like, what am I going to do to set myself apart? But really, I was like, I don't want to just go over, because I love this guy, you know, but I don't want to go over and just cry in his face. And I went over a few days, you know, but one day I went over, I saw everybody was just, you know, being a real sad sack, a real bitch. So I just went over, and I just told him about my day. Because I wanted something about reminding him that, you know, life is still moving. It's all good. Shit's still fucking stupid. You can go. Not a big deal to die, you know? So I'm talking to him. He can't talk. He's just like, but he can hear me. And I was just talking about driving over, and I was like, yeah, there's all this traffic. This guy cut me off. It fucking sucked, you know? I like to think on his dying days, he was kind of like, yeah, people fucking blow. You know what I mean? And it is, I don't know, it's a good thing. Like, it's kind of a funny thing, like, if your friend, maybe not like your parent because they worry about your future, but maybe like if your friend's dying, you can go over and be like, oh yeah, man, this shit is bad. I mean, they're a bunch of fucking homeless people. It's good you're dying, man. I mean, nobody's doing anything about any problem in this entire city, so solid time for you to check out. You should definitely check out, you know? But hey, you know, it's an interesting thing. All the people that die. Comedians die all the time, you know? I wish they wouldn't. That's a weird... I don't know why it's a profession where so many people die. I think it's because there's just so many people that are suicidal or addicts or both. And comedian suicides are always, I don't know, coming out of nowhere, but also kind of expected. I had a good friend that killed himself, Richard Bain. He's a very funny comedian. You can still find some of his videos online. And he was very good. He was very nice to me as a young comic. He did a very funny thing. I don't know if this was intentional, because I don't think he watched the news the day he killed himself. I'd say he wasn't really, I don't think, a news guy to begin with. I would wager that the day he killed himself, he probably didn't pop on MSNBC and think, "What's up with the world?" He was probably a little bit in his own head, but he did hang himself from a tree in his yard the day George Floyd died, which is, I mean, you want to talk about funny. A white guy hanging himself the day a black American, like too many others in our history, is unjustly murdered by the police. I mean, it's just really, it's really a white thing to do, and it's hilarious. And I'm not critiquing him. It would be very funny if I was like, can we unpack how Richard Bain, a white man, chose to kill himself the day George Floyd? Like, what does that say about his suicide and future suicides? Comedian suicides today now are polarized. They are political. A lot of people would say his suicide was a comment on the woke. It was a comment on people trying to make the world better that he perceived as annoying. And it's the case of another white man taking liberties with the struggles of other people. And so to him, I say nay. Be very funny if somebody's trying to shit on a guy that killed himself. Like, he really... Anyway, but yeah, I mean, if you think your friend's gonna kill themselves, just make sure to be there when they do it so you can support them. Because like I said, it's good to be there for your friends when they die, because it's, it's a last transition, and you want to be there for your friends. A lot of people would say that if your friend is going to kill themselves, that you should stop them. And I think that's a little self-centered. I think it's a little fucked up. I think if your friend's going to kill themselves, you should say, you know what? I love you. I support you. And I just want you to be happy. And if what you need to do to be happy is kill yourself, then it would be fucked up and selfish of me to stand in your way. That's not my place. It's not my place to tell you that you should stay alive. I'm not given that power. So you, as my friend who I love and I respect, so you, as somebody who deserves love and respect, I'm going to help you kill yourself because I love you and I care about you. And that's what friendship's about. That's what it's all about. That's like that. There was that good movie about those two gay guys. Stanley Tucci plays one of the gay guys. He's dying. Or no, he's not dying. He has dementia. And he tells his husband, he goes, I got dementia. And his husband says, of course you got dementia. You're out of your mind. You fuck guys. I knew there was something wrong with you. No, his husband's also gay, and that's not really the kind of movie. It is, but he tells his husband, he goes, yeah, I got dementia. Shit's gonna get bad. I don't want you to have to take care of me for 20 years and have the rest of your life gone. And his husband responds by saying, cool. No, his husband's like, no, I want to take care of you. And Stanley Tucci's such a dog in this movie because he's just like, no, dude, I love you. We've had a good life. If I stay alive, we're about to have a bad life. I'm not even going to know where I am, so there's no point in me being alive. You're going to lose your life trying to facilitate mine, so I'm going to kill myself. And his husband's like, I don't want you to die. And Stanley Tucci is like, dude, even if I stay alive, I'm practically dead anyway. Which only a man would have the foresight, because if this was a movie about a straight couple with a woman with dementia, she'd be like, I have dementia, and then the whole movie would just be a guy taking care of her until she dies and then never having sex again, because women want men to suffer. And that's a joke, and I don't believe that at all. But when the boys come together, only two boys can say, I got to kill myself. And the other boy eventually goes, all right, boys will be boys. You got dementia. You got to kill yourself. And it's a nice thing. He takes some pills. They go out to the country. They hold hands. It's also kind of murky as to how they would kind of get away with that. I think you get away with it just by being like, well, my husband killed himself and I didn't know he was going to kill himself. So it's pretty easy to get away with. I think it's actually not a big deal. But I remember watching that with my friend in a cabin during the pandemic. And it would have been very funny because he was gay and I'm bi, so it would have been very funny actually if after that I took pills and killed myself while we sat on the patio, even though there would be no reason to. But, listen, you come here, this is the Death Podcast. This is where you come to learn about what it's going to be like when you make the final transition into death. If you liked any of this, maybe write in some death stories. I'd love to hear some fun, wacky, quirky stories about death. I would be interested in hearing about that. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I really plan out my death a lot, I've been listening to the song Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is a good song. You should listen to it. It's a Christian hymn. So anybody that's not Christian, listen to it ASAP, because you got to fix whatever you're into, you got to fix that, When I meet anybody that's not Christian, they'll be like, oh, I'm this. And I'll be like, oh, shit. Like, have you worked on fixing it? You know what I mean? I'll be like, what God is that? Yeah, that's not real, Anybody that's not Christian, they tell me about their God, and I go, that's not real. I say that to a lot of people, I've met world leaders, who are of various religions, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism. I've talked to all of them. And they say, in my religion we believe, and I go, that's interesting because it's all bullshit. And sometimes people get offended, Sometimes when a devout Muslim tells you about what they do day to day, and you go, that's really interesting, but none of that is real. They will sometimes be a little offended, but you have to remember as a warrior for Christ that it's an essential part of what you have to do to spread the word of God. And it's interesting because I essentially atheist. I don't necessarily believe in God. I like the idea, but I do think that if I said I believe in God, I would be in bad faith, and I don't want to enter into anything in bad faith. But nonetheless, I still am a warrior for Jesus Christ. And you have to remember that when you are fighting for Jesus Christ, you'll talk to a lot of people that are going to hell. And, I talked to a Jewish historian who had a lot of family members in the Holocaust, and has traced his bloodline back, very long. And just, he told me about what Judaism did for him, and not just the religious aspect, but the cultural aspect, the teachings of the Torah, and what these celebrations mean to him, and how they bring people together. And it went past just God. It was about people, and it was about real life. And I was talking to him walking through the grounds of Cal Berkeley, and he's telling me about this and how it's changed his life. And after an hour and a half, I look at him and I say, "Do you like Tom and Jerry?" He says, "The cartoon." I say, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, I watched it when I was younger." And I say, "A lot of what you said to me reminds me of Tom and Jerry." And he said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, "Because it's not real. Because it is not the Christian doctrine." And he was surprised and offended. And, he said, I'm offended that you would say that about my religion after I've told you all the things it's done for me. And I said, a schizophrenic believes they're in the Football Hall of Fame, and they're not, and it's the same thing. And he said, that is wildly intolerant. And I said, you are intolerant of the teachings of Jesus Christ. And one thing led to another. I was kicked off of campus. I was banned from campus. There were things written about me in the campus newsletter. Do I believe that I still helped spread the word of God? Yes. Was it fulfilling? Was it enlightening? Was it a powerful moment we shared of me telling him that his belief in this thing that has helped his life is not real? Did that feel good? Yes, because I did it for Jesus. I've done a lot of missionary missions. I have contacted several uncontacted tribes, sort of the ones that you see pictures of on the internet when they're on the beach with arrows and spears and they shoot at the helicopter. I have been to those islands. I actually went to the island of tribal people that killed the white missionary. I went there, and I brought an AR-15, and I killed them. And I didn't want to, because first I showed them the Bible, and they responded with aggression, and so I had no choice but to defend myself. I killed about 36 of the remaining members of a primitive tribe that has remained largely uncontacted by the outside world. Authorities in Peru who had taken care of these people and left them untouched and not bothered them, they were upset with me. When I explained to them that I did it in the name of God, they were still upset to me. So I used the AR-15 again. I got out of there. I came back to America. I know everything I'm saying is getting a little bit confusing. The point of everything that I'm saying is that sometimes work in the name of God is messy. But if you keep the same principles as some of God's greatest warriors, Ted Kaczynski, Timothy McVeigh, people like that, then you will know what it is to be light. You will know what it is to be the truth. For those men walked the hard path with God. A lot of people don't know. Timothy McVeigh blew up the Oklahoma City federal building in the name of Jesus. He did it because he knew there were people in there that didn't go to church every Sunday. And a lot of people say, why didn't he talk to them about going to church? There's so many whys in every situation. But the fact of the matter is sometimes the work of the Lord and of Jesus Christ will end you up in a moving van that is just packed to the brim with explosives. And sometimes it means blowing half of a building off, killing a bunch of kids in daycare, a guy getting killed by the U.S. government and have it being ruled a suicide because he said they are lying about the situation. That is the kind of thing that happens in the name of God. The only thing the 9/11 hijackers did wrong was that they did what they did in the name of a false god, because it wasn't the Christian God. The reason American troops doing whatever they want in any other country, bombing weddings, kidnapping children, torturing innocent store owners, the reason all of that is completely okay and not bad at all for even a second is because we do it for Jesus. Guantanamo Bay is for Jesus. Jesus likes Abu Ghraib. Jesus likes us being in Afghanistan and Iran and these countries, and Jesus likes that. Jesus likes all of our international interventions. Jesus likes the Iran-Contra war. Jesus likes the School of Americas in El Salvador, I believe it was, where we trained militant armies to suppress democratic elections and things like that. Jesus likes that. Okay? What Jesus doesn't like is countries that are not America believing in things other than him and having leaders that they elected. Jesus doesn't like that. Jesus likes it when we come into a country, duct tape the face of their president, punch it until blood comes out of the duct tape, throw him in a well, and then have a new election where we put in somebody that we like more. Jesus likes that. Jesus likes the United Fruit Company set up by JFK, which was supposed to bring business to El Salvador, but instead brought American business that made Americans money, selling all these bananas. Meanwhile, the country itself is actually starving, even though they're producing banana after banana. Jesus liked that so much. Jesus liked that Kennedy went to a country full of poor people and used it to make the rich richer. That's why Jesus killed John F. Kennedy. Because he thought, this is so cool, and I like this guy so much, I'm going to have him killed so he can come up to heaven and we can hang out. And we can talk. So, I mean, I know I've been rambling for a little bit. I'm just saying all of this to say that no matter the amount of blood spilled, it is totally okay, chill, and shaka, as long as it is in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Anyway, that is going to be all for the Militant Christian Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week with an expose on what it means to kill for God. Thank you so much, and I love you. This is a comedy podcast.